This is section 10.7. It's called Interpreting the Discriminant. First of all, we're going to define the discriminant. The discriminant is a term beneath the square root sign in the quadratic formula. So the discriminant actually equals b squared minus 4ac. What's great about the discriminant is the value of the discriminant tells you the number of solutions there are to a quadratic equation. So before you even solve the quadratic equation, you can have in mind how many answers you're looking for. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, then there are two solutions to the equation. Now remember what that means. That means there are two x-intercepts. This would be a graph, an example graph, of something that has two solutions, a parabola with two solutions or two x-intercepts. It could be downward facing, or it could be upward facing, and it would cross the axis twice. If b squared minus 4ac equals 0, then there is only one solution. Okay? That means that the parabola touches the axis. It may open up or it may open down. If b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, there is no solution. Because remember, the discriminant is underneath the square root sign. So you can't take the square root of a negative, so there's no solution there. That only means that the parabola does not cross the x-axis. It may open up, it may open down, it could be in any quadrant, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means it doesn't cross the x-axis. We're going to use the discriminant to determine the number of solutions. So we're going to look at some equations now and calculate the discriminant. In this first equation, 2x squared plus 6x plus 5 equals 0. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So that would equal 6 squared minus 4 times 2 times 5. That's 36 minus 40. That's negative 4. Remember, if you get a negative answer for the discriminant, it means there's no solution. So there are no x-intercepts here. In the next equation, this is the kind we've easily solved with square roots. X squared minus 7 equals 0. So we know already that x equals plus or minus the square root of 7. We can see that there are two solutions or two intercepts. But using the discriminant method, just to see how many answers there are, you take b squared minus 4ac, and that equals 0 minus 4 times 1 times negative 7. That's positive 28. Remember, if the discriminant is positive, you know you have two solutions. So that matches what we got when we actually calculated the solution. Here's another example. 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Calculate the discriminant. The discriminant is negative 12 times 2 minus 4 times 4. I'm sorry, that's negative 12 squared. Okay, let's fix that. That should be squared. Okay. Minus 4 times 4 times 9. So that's 144 minus 144. That equals 0. When the discriminant is 0, you have one solution and one intercept. So tell the number of solutions here. The first one, 3x squared minus 7 equals 2x. Write it in standard form. Define what a, b, and c are. In this case, a is 3, b is negative 2, and c is negative 7. Calculate the discriminant. So the discriminant is negative 2 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 7. That's 4 plus 84. That's 88. Because d is positive, there are two solutions. Try these problems. Okay? Pause this if you need to. Calculate the discriminant. In the first one, x squared plus 4x plus 3, the discriminant is positive. So you would get two solutions. So let's write that down. Two solutions. In the second, 2x squared minus 5x plus 6, Hopefully you got no solution, okay, because the discriminant was negative. And then the last one, negative x squared plus 2x equals 1. You got the discriminant is 0, so there is one solution. Remember what one solution means. It means the parabola is touching the x-axis. Okay? So it meets the axis just one place. Let's take a look at a word problem. Shift this over just a pinch. Maybe not. There we go. Okay, so here's a word problem that's featured in your book, actually. Okay. The Centennial Fountain in Chicago shoots a water arc that can be modeled by the graph of this equation. Y equals negative 0.006 x squared plus 1.2x plus 10, where x is the horizontal distance in feet from the river's north shore, and y is the height in feet above the river. The question is, does the water arc reach a height of 50 feet? And if so, about how far from the north shore is the water arc 50 feet above the water? So if we draw a graph of this, what we're looking at is the water starting here, okay, and it's going to shoot up and around. This is the north shore on the left-hand side. We want to know if it meets 50 feet in the air, and if so, where does it meet that? So what you want to do is set y equal to 50. That's the height that you're looking for. And then we'll calculate the discriminant to see if we have any answers. Okay. When y equals 50 is substituted, you get 50 equals negative 0.006 x squared plus 1.2x plus 10, or 0 equals negative 0.006 x squared plus 1.2x minus 40. Find the value of the discriminant first to see how many answers you will get. That means how many places does it reach 50. So b squared minus 4ac is 1.2 squared, again that is a square, minus 4 times negative 0.006 times negative 40, and that equals 48. Because the discriminant is positive, there are two solutions. The water arc reaches 50 feet 2 times, probably going up and coming down, since we're in the shape of a parabola. So they ask you, where does it reach 50 feet? Okay, at what point from the north shore? So we're going to measure the horizontal distance from where the water starts to the place where it reaches 50 feet. So we're going to solve the equation using the quadratic formula to find the distance from the north shore where the water arc is 50 feet high. So we have x equals the opposite of b, that's 1.2, plus or minus the square root of 0.48, divided by 2 times negative 0.006. So x equals 42 feet, or x equals 158. So the water arc is 50 feet above the water two places, 42 feet from shore and 158 feet from shore.